So we had that big event everybody was waiting for. It took place Saturday Night Live, which, here's the thing. I tweeted something out. I said, is Elon Musk going on Saturday Night Live, or is Saturday Night Live going on Elon Musk? That's why I tweeted. I don't think everybody understood it. But what I was trying to imply was like, who's got the platform here? Now, I know Saturday Night Live. I'm not saying anything about that. They've been around. They've done it. Every legend that's been on there and all the rest of it. I'm just saying right now, 2021, which is which? Because all of a sudden, Saturday Night Live was elevated in my news feed for weeks prior to it happening. And then after he went on, same thing in my news feed, which prior to that, where were they? So now I'm one person with a set of interests and obviously technology focused. So I'm not everybody. And there's plenty of people who know and love Saturday Night Live as well. But if we're looking based on the numbers here, he's a huge personality. Tons of controversy leading up to it, by the way. You wouldn't normally have a business executive, an entrepreneur host the show. It's always going to be athletes and musicians and actors.
Sure.
Right? That's pretty much all it ever is.
Comedians, yeah.
Comedians, who are usually actors as well.
Right, yeah.
Comedic actors. By the way, Mo's on the show today. Shout out to Mo. Stepping in. He's got a lot to say about these subjects. So we had to bring him in. But anyway, there's some controversy leading up to it because he was this unusual character. There were conversations around some of the things he said with COVID, some of the things, just him just being super wealthy in the first place. Some people have something against that. But all that said, it seems that the response, and again, I think this is skewed a little bit by a lot of extra people coming over to this show that wouldn't normally be watching, but the response seems to be relatively positive.
For him, yeah.
For Elon.
It was enjoyable for just watching him do his thing.
So you had a time.
I did, yeah.
And you have a lot to say as well, apparently.
Not so much, but...
what do you think?
I was curious about his acting abilities to be on live television and be in skits and try to be funny. And he did a pretty good job, I would say. They put him into a couple skits, and there was a serious role and then a comedic role, and then he had to go into character. So
listen, man, I always have appreciation for somebody stepping outside their comfort zone.
Yeah.
This guy, he does not have to do any of this. I know he wants to be loved and appreciated just like every other human being. But this is not the easiest thing in the world. He was there for a week. You saw with the scripts, preparing, rehearsing, hanging out with Miley Cyrus. Can I just give a shout out to Miley Cyrus, by the way? Because I'm watching this thing, and I'm going to be honest right now. I haven't been following her career, whatever's been going on.
Our new album?
I haven't been following anything.
Pretty amazing.
Zero.
Was it?
I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
And so I'm just coming to it from the standpoint of, okay, Elon being on SNL felt like an event, so I'm going to check that out. And then so that brought me into, the musical guest is Miley Cyrus. Let me see where she's at. And then all of a sudden, she got this musical number, and there's horns in the background, and it's a full band. There's a guitar solo. She's doing a full rock thing going on with a raspy voice.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, then. I'm like, all right.
Yeah, she collabed with Billy Idol.
There's something to this.
Yeah.
You get that vibe.
So it was Miley Cyrus Plastic Hearts, and you can't play it. But go check that out. Look, it's only got 530,000 views, the performance. It's live, and it's a lot of instrumentation. I'm talking traditional, real deal instrumentation over there. And they got it all worked out, man. Damn, it had me moving a little bit.
Yeah.
I was surprised. It had me moving.
Shrugging the shoulders?
I might have.
Yeah.
So that's a little side note there. And also for stepping up, because she was taking heat for being on the show with him, with Elon Musk in the first place. Her Twitter followers were like, no, not you. He's a controversial character.
Oh, anybody paired up with him would have taken heat.
From the moment it was announced that he was going to be the host, it seemed to be some sort of crossover that did not align. There was some sort of philosophical mismatch, like between business and comedy.
Yeah.
Between like almost like the discrepancy, like his success or wealth or even some of his comments were going to get in the way of him being able to cooperate or
And
participate
be funny.
or be funny.
Yeah.
Which I don't think happened, for the record.
Now, do you think that you found him entertaining because you're like, he's so out of place that good job, you did half decent? Or he legitimately just did a great job?
I actually think it worked in reverse, where it's like the same thing that would bother people about him being there was what I liked about him being there.
Oh, so he used it to his advantage.
Just absurdity. Like, I mean, he dressed up as Wario, as you can see here. Just absolutely bananas. Like, it looks to me, and I don't think these ideas were his. So what it looks to me is like they came up with these ideas. They're like, oh, hey, look, we got the world's richest man, depending on where the stock is on any given day. And they're like, wouldn't it be funny if we put him in a Wario costume? And then they all pitch it and they talk about it. I don't know. Maybe it's his idea because I wasn't there. But there's something about accepting that and being like, you know what? Yeah, all right, give me the costume.
Let's roll with the punches.
Let's see that right there. As opposed to being the guy that's like up on themselves to the point where they would be like, I don't think that's really suitable right there. Or got the people beside him, which so many people that are in a, like, one thing about him is that as rich and powerful and influential as he is, he can make fun of it.
Yeah, there's a part of him that doesn't take himself too seriously, and that's where he can kind of shine and become relatable.
And in some ways, it might be why and how he elevated to a different position than some of these other executives that seem to be buttoned up all the time.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes his buttons are undone. And this is evidence. I mean, the Doge stuff is very similar to it. Like, it's he seems to be a very tapped in to something. Like, as far as the type of behavior necessary to endear yourself to people that typically wouldn't be endeared to you.
Yeah, especially from a person in that position.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, it would have been one thing at one point to envision an entrepreneur as wildly successful. Like, oh, this guy invented the electric car, like, ooh, powerful. Like, you picture behind a desk with like a name.
Right.
You know, I'm talking like Henry Ford type situation. Or just your vision of an executive. And then you got this guy in the Wario costume.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm
saying? There is a fine line of cringy and, like, for the people in this position.
I mean, it could all be considered cringy.
Yeah.
But it's like, the weird thing about cringe is that it's not really the right term when the person intends the cringe.
Yeah. When they're in on the joke.
True cringe is when the person involved is trying to do the opposite of cringe. They're trying to be the coolest ever and failing. So that's a weird thing. You can defeat cringe by aiming at cringe in a way. Maybe not always. But anyway, they did a bunch of skits. So there was the Wario one. There was some Doge talk. He was like a financial advisor in one of them. He played a couple different roles. There was a Western one. I watched all of them. It's a hard thing. Probably the most, probably my favorite outside of the Miley Cyrus performance. Probably my favorite was the opening monologue.
Yeah.
And it got a little bit surprisingly more personal than I expected. He actually announced what I believe is the first time publicly that he has Asperger's syndrome, which some people had speculated, oh, maybe he's on that spectrum just based on the way he kind of communicates, and he's a little bit different in that way. But this becomes official here, and he puts it out there during SNL, and he puts it out there in like kind of a comedic and joking way, which can be a way can kind of almost in some circumstances make it easier to share some information like that if you can laugh, have a little laugh afterwards. But I know this has been a big deal and quite meaningful to certain communities on the internet, because I watched some of the replies and some people were saying, look, I suffer from with this as well. And to have somebody openly admit to having this, somebody in your position who has worked through it and elevated themselves to a particular position and worked really hard and had success and so forth, is really meaningful to some of those people to come out and put that in there. And you sure know when it comes to saying something like that, that's not going to be a writer's room that tells you to say that. That's got to come because it's your own work, it's your own thing. And so that's a big move to get on the set there and say, you know, I want to have one joke that goes this way with it.
Yeah.
Or maybe he just wrote the whole thing himself. I don't really know how much help he would have gotten writing that. But so he comes out and says that, makes a joke about it and says, kind of owns it and celebrates it to a certain extent. Then the other thing he did was he brought his mother out, which was, I don't know if any host has ever done that before. His mother was in the audience, and then she comes on stage for the thing. They talk about young Elon, so it was surprisingly personal, and then there was even some like edginess with the O.J. Simpson stuff. I don't know who watched it, but so nonetheless, I mean, we just talked about it enough leading up to it. I know it's just somebody hosting SNL, and so what can you really do with it? It's just, there's only so much to take away. He made his attempt at being funny. He's obviously he apologized for having possibly offended people in previous tweets. Like, he wants to be liked. So does everybody else.
Yeah, it's a natural human tendency.
What happened to the Doge stock after he was on?
Oh yeah.
So the Doge stock, and a little bit more about this we're gonna get into right after our sponsor today, which is ExpressVPN. I was just telling Mo to get ExpressVPN. I was just explaining. We almost had a no bark show. We had a no bark show last episode. Yeah. I said that it was going to be a no bark show, and it actually was a no bark show. This time around,
it's coming with a big resurgence.
Not so much. This time around, we're having a bark party once again. Anyway, so I was just telling Mo that he's got to get ExpressVPN because there's all kinds of content that I have suggested he go out and watch, which he's going to need to change his geography in order to do that. And that's where the VPN comes in, because all of a sudden your favorite streaming sites, you are granted access to global content. The all access pass, and it's fast in my experience, and I'm still streaming at full resolution even through the VPN. And then, of course, there's the added benefits of privacy and so forth working through a VPN. Now, ExpressVPN works on all devices, Windows, Mac, Android, iOS, Linux. You can even install ExpressVPN right on your router. So everything that connects to that router is actually going to be protected by that VPN, and you can set it to whatever region. This is helpful when you have devices where you might not be able to install the app, but they connect to your home Wi-Fi, and you want to stream through them, so you would just install it on the router. You have 160 locations, 94 countries, unlimited bandwidth. It's super straightforward and easy to use. You can even have it like select the best server in your particular region. Look at all the devices. I mean, they've even got PlayStation and Xbox in there, and you can use it on Chrome, Firefox, Edge. With ExpressVPN, your connection gets rerouted through an encrypted server. Your IP address is masked. It will give you a random IP address shared with other ExpressVPN customers that makes it more difficult for third parties to identify and harvest your data. Super easy to use. Go to expressvpn.com/LouLater and get 3 extra months free. That's expressvpn.com/LouLater. Go to expressvpn.com/LouLater for 3 extra free months. And you can click the link in the description if that's easier for you. All right, so leading up to Elon Musk hosting the SNL episode, there was a little conversation about him doing it that took place on Rogan's podcast where he had Dave Chappelle on. And I know, Mo, you had a question like, why is it controversial for him to host? And actually, there were a number of people that had expressed similar sentiment. But there were people wondering, why is Elon Musk controversial? And it's kind of hard to pinpoint. It's more of a vague thing. It's
Is there like a main reason?
well, like one of the tweets that was sent his way was from it was a retweet of a Bernie Sanders tweet talking about wealth disparity in the United States.
Right.
Like particularly around COVID, you had huge increases in wealth for some individuals and not for others, including the likes of Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos. Like it's there's a group there. There's a target. Like you're the problem type of thing, which is more generic and not exclusive to him, but could be applied to him as a consequence. So there was that piece for starters. And then there were COVID comments that he made. But anyway, they were discussing it, Dave Chappelle and Rogan, and they both happened to know him because you probably remember you had some social media. They're all hanging out, spent a lot of time in Austin, the three of those guys.
Right, yeah.
And Elon had been going to some of the shows that they put together, Chappelle and Rogan. And so it came up as a topic of conversation leading up to the thing. Now, it appears that both Rogan and Chappelle kind of had his back, but I don't know if they even necessarily share the same politics. They appear to be coming at it more based on personal experience. So in the case of Chappelle, he says, like you said, no one can be woke enough, which there's some sort of a play here on the competition to be the most woke. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like across social media. I'm torn because I like a warrior for a good cause. This is Chappelle's quote, but I'm really into tactics. You're not going to nag people into behaving. In fact, if you continue with this tone, even if you're right, you'll be very hard to hear. He also went on to say that in his experiences with Musk, he found him to be very kind, which in some cases, if you do have the opportunity to engage with somebody personally, sometimes you get a sense for somebody, like what their real intent happens to be. That might be beyond the scope of all those that would never have a chance to have that interaction. I've had this experience in my life where I have a preconception about somebody and then I meet them. And actually it goes both ways. I have a preconception about somebody and I think that...
Oh, in a positive light?
Exactly. Like, oh, you know what? Online, they seem like awesome. Can't wait to hang out with that person. And then you meet them in real life and you're like, whoa.
Totally different person.
Boo.
Whoa, who's in the room right now? Like, what just happened here?
Yeah.
Where's the guy in the video?
Yeah.
And then on the flip side, you might have other people that you're just like, oh yeah, I see this stuff. And then they show up and you're like, dude,
That's the coolest person you've ever met.
you're really cool. Man, we're just this is just flowing right now. How long we been friends for?
5 minutes.
Yeah, no, but I feel like 5 years.
Yeah.
Some people, it's really interesting, these types of experiences. So I think it does matter, people's personal experiences with others and how they can, what they can kind of extract from that. Because there's tons of speculation. And we have it's a real culture of speculation right now. And guilty until proven innocent type of thing. I mean, it's a lot of skeptics. It's a ton of criticism. It's hard to be out there right now. And we're all people at the end of the day. And you know, this is what's crazy about to me. I watched that clip and I easily could have said, you know, screw that guy, billion. It's easy. It's easy. But I try to watch it on a human level and say, he's got more money than God, but made of flesh and bone, got to step up there in front of everybody. Got to step up there, make yourself uncomfortable. Got to step up there with Asperger's and host SNL.
Would you trade shoes kind of?
Not just that. I'm just saying, like, as a person who is talking on a microphone, I feel that I can just I have a small dose, and I can imagine what that heavy dose of attention and criticism feels like.
Yeah.
And again, it's not a question of feeling bad. I just try often to put myself in the shoes of the individual prior to criticizing them.
Right.
And that goes in all directions, whether it's a billionaire or or anybody else in any other story for that matter. It feels like a healthier way to look at things.
Oh, absolutely.
For me, at least. But anyway, I guess it was probably helpful for him to read that Dave Chappelle had his back a little bit prior.
Yeah.
That'd be enough for me.
Dave Chappelle having anybody's back is like, whoa, all right.
I don't know.
Awesome.
For me, if he was like, I don't understand what this is. But actually, some cast members said something similar. Pete Davidson said something similar. He was like, I don't know why everybody's so mad. Like, this guy makes cool cars and goes to space and whatever else. And
I'm with Pete, man. I don't get why people are upset with him.
yeah. Well, people are upset. Everybody's upset with somebody and something. You know what I mean? Like, there's people upset with you right now. Mm-hmm. For real. It's just part of it.
Hey, man.
Are you saying you don't deserve it? No, that's the thing. It doesn't really matter if you deserve it. It's just part of the game. Mm-hmm. It's like often people are just upset in general, and the target doesn't really matter that much.
Right. He's just an easy one. He's so big, and
I personally have had plenty of experiences where I would reply to somebody angry, and then they change their tone right away, and then they're just like, "Oh yeah, that's not the way I meant that," or whatever. And it's just, you ever been really hungry before?
A few times.
Yeah, you're not yourself.
Oh yeah.
Type of things you say to people, you'd be like, "Damn, I said that." You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, there's a weird way in which we speak on social media, which is like seems concrete, like a personality, like a part of your personality. When you say it, it's like you wrote it down. God damn, that's like a point in your book right there. Seems like something you researched, but that's not record.
It's not like live and die by now.
But it's not the way people use social media. The way people use it is more frivolous. It's more off the cuff. It's more quick.
Yeah.
And so instead, it's like you when you're hungry, right? It's like traffic on the street. It's not really you. It's a little bit of it is, but there's a lot of things that will come out in a moment that you would regret a moment later. Right. But the regret never goes on the record. It lives right there. And so sometimes you hit that reset and a person's like, oh, you know what? I was a bit moody. I mean, never mind hungry. Maybe you woke up on the wrong side of bed.
Yeah,
I don't need to
be smaller than that.
Yeah, I don't. Sometimes you're yelling at Kirk over there, right? Because you didn't have the Timbits.
Right. Well deserved, though. Kirk's been taking all the Timbits.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not truly your identity. And so when it's perceived that way, as it would be if somebody attacked you right now, you'd be like, God damn, they really feel that way. Right? Somebody in the comments right now is like, get this Mo guy off the show.
Yep.
Like, damn, man, they got a point. Meanwhile, you call them up and they're like, oh yeah, that, you know what?
Just having a bad day.
I was just saying stuff.
Yeah.
They're like that. I didn't really actually mean that the full way. Now, I'm not saying that's always the case, but it's just amazing how.
You give them a Snickers and they're all good.
So anyway, the Dogecoin question. There was one moment in the show where he said that Dogecoin was a hustle. As a joke! Or maybe not, because it is a joke, and it's a joke on top of a joke, and it's levels of 4D jokes. So, you know what I mean? It's already a meme currency.
Sure, yeah.
So I feel like you can joke about it all you want. Right. Shouldn't matter. But that makes people nervous when they got their life savings or any portion of their life savings in something. They're like, stop joking about that.
Yeah, don't ruin this for me.
I've been bragging about this to all my friends for the last 3 months.
Yeah.
It's not a joke. So it's like, there's like the public facing stuff of to the moon. And then there's in the background, there's like the nails on the table, like, to the moon. I thought you were going to the moon.
Yeah, it got very serious very quickly.
So anyway, he said it was just funny stuff going on, but I guess it kind of, did it really tumble, Doge? I mean, it definitely fell, but it's still at like 60 cents, is it not? Want to give us an update? I guess people just had really huge expectations that he goes on the show and then, okay, it fell a lot. Down at 45 cents. It's over.
Yeah, but this is what you said in the beginning where you're just like, who's the bigger, like is Elon going on SNL or is SNL having Elon on kind of thing? Like who's bringing the audience? If this is going to fall, this kind of just proves to me that SNL brought Elon on. Like clearly him having him on the show affected the stock there.
Oh,
And
yeah.
to me, Elon is Doge.
Okay, so I think what happened here is that smart people that wanted to make money short term had targeted the SNL event as the peak. Like no matter what,
Right.
this is peak Doge for now. Could there be another one? Sure. But there was so much expectation that those that had gotten in, maybe not at the very beginning, but those who had gotten in recently, who wanted to turn their money around and get something out of it, they easily could have looked at that moment and said, okay, this is going to be our peak price. Maybe even before he goes on SNL, like the day before or something like this. But you can probably map it, and Will's working the charts over here. I don't know what he's up to, but things are moving around. But you probably could time it that a lot of people at that moment said, okay, I'm out now. Yeah. That was my threshold, or I'm going to take my gains right now. But of course, as you know, whether it is the stock market or crypto,
you never really know.
You never know. We're not going to know for certain. But what we do know for sure is that when people start bailing, more people start bailing.
Sure, yeah.
This is
snowball effect.
The hype train goes two directions, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the crowd will follow.
Yeah, apparently Robinhood had a problem too during the trading on Saturday. Apparently a lot of people were having error messages.
Binance too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think it's a tactic? You think it was, or is it just too much trading?
Yeah, they
slow down selling it.
They come out and always say it's a volume thing, and I'm sure you can look at the volume numbers. They're probably out of control. But where they had the volume over there, volume.
I think it was.
Why you got it? Where is it, Will? I'm used to Coinbase. You can always bring me to CoinMarketCap,
okay,
and then I die. They showed a 24-hour volume over here. And then we can get a sense for just...
Even Shiba.
What the hell is that? Is that a new Doge?
Yeah, it popped off
a new Doge.
Saturday.
Ethereum's still healthy, right?
Mm-hmm.
You sure, Will? That's what matters to me.
Yes.
To the moon, Will. Don't joke about that one. That's a real crypto. You can only joke about joke cryptos, not real cryptos.
Yeah.
Because blockchain, because NFTs, because things are built on it, Will.
Mm-hmm.
Don't joke about my Ethereum.
No, it's doing well.
Yeah, okay, so here we go. Where's our volume 24 hours? $21 billion Canadian in the last 24 hours. But he was on Saturday, so let's just see the week. Switch to the week. It won't show us the weekly volume. Anyway, it's tons of volume in Dogecoin moving around.
Crazy.
Many billions of real dollars. Actually, I thought that their piece on crypto was kind of funny. Kind of fun and funny.
It was short, simple.
Yeah. I was all about it. Apple is going to invest another $45 million into Gorilla Glass maker Corning. I didn't even actually know that they were heavily invested here, but they're even more invested now. Of course, on a recent model, they had worked together on that ceramic shield, which they claimed, the iPhone 12, you can drop it. Well, no, don't drop it. But like if you do drop it, you got a better chance with ceramic shield. That's on there. So they worked together on that. And then obviously you have the rumors of a potential bendable iPhone, but bendable stuff has been real difficult to figure out glass-wise. So you've had these really like mucky feeling screens. If you jab it with your fingernail accidentally,
it leaves an indent.
It might. I was okay with mine. All the ones I use daily or whatever, I lived my life. You know.
You had the fold. Did you use the flip?
Never use the flip. Not as a daily driver, but all the folds. Anyway, so maybe you get one of these hybrids, right? Some plastic, some glass. Mm-hmm. Corning puts it together. Feels more like glass, bends more like plastic. How you like the sound of that, Mo?
Best of both worlds.
How you like that, Mo? You ready to host SNL or what? Corning provides glass for a variety of Apple products, iPhone, iPad, and the Apple Watch. And their relationship goes back to the original iPhone, actually. But of course, as you know, they make glass for other brands as well, including Samsung and others. Anywhere you see that Gorilla Glass stuff. So a wildly successful company. And maybe they could use this $45 million to go back in the lab and develop that next hot product. What do you say, Will?
I guess it's just for iPhones or Apple products, right?
Well, I don't know. They can work it the way Samsung works displays.
Oh, right.
They could be like,
Cut a deal.
well,
They
could be like, iPhone 12's got a ceramic shield. They could be like, hey, Samsung, on that next model, not the same time as us. No. You wait a little bit, but then you want to buy that ceramic shield for your next model? You know, you can brag about it. You know, you can put together a commercial series about it. You want to buy that one too? See how that goes? Mm-hmm. Everybody shakes hands. Mm-hmm. Money is transferred between accounts. Doge moves to space.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll see what they're able to do with it, if they keep it for them, keep those developments for themselves, or end up selling them. But this will expand Corning's manufacturing capacity in the U.S. and drive research and development into innovative new technologies. Manufacturing capacity in the U.S. is worth mentioning. Somebody has successfully hacked the AirTag.
Oh, a matter of time that this was going to happen.
And the implications are huge because these are so portable, so hideable, covert. What this guy did is very basic at this point, but it opens up all kinds. It opens up a Pandora's box.
Yeah.
I apologize for that.
Is he going to share what his,
of
his
course.
findings?
Don't you know anything about hacking, Will? you need to be able to say, look, this is what I did. It's for the community.
Oh.
Yeah. Anyway, busted a couple AirTags along the way, but effectively got to the point of showcasing a demo in which the NFC on the iPhone, when he taps on a typical AirTag, of course, that brings up Apple's URL.
Right.
And the one that he has hacked brings up whatever URL he likes, including stacksmashing.net, which is, I guess, his thing. But obviously, there's a recognition here. If you can
do this, what else can you do?
If you can switch the website that the AirTag defaults to, well, what kind of details can you transmit elsewhere to some other place? It's very early stuff, but they already had the heat going with the stalking thing that we mentioned and the battery thing in Australia. And now they got to deal with how hackers are going to use these devices. Now, maybe what can happen is countermeasures where Apple could attempt to block devices being used in this fashion. But yes, this could present opportunities for bad actors to modify the AirTag software for the purposes of phishing and more. Right? If you had maybe an AirTag near a phone, sharing information as they do over Bluetooth.
Right.
Yeah, possibilities are endless.
And then Apple Pay, and then passwords.
Ooh, that's scary.
And then Apple Pay. They're coming for you, Mo. Apparently, Apple's going to get into the 5G modem business. Could debut in iPhones as early as 2023. I have done some content in the past around modems, not 5G. The last time around was when Apple was splitting their networking between Qualcomm and Intel. This is a long time ago, old studio. The Intel stuff sucked, and then eventually Intel got out of the mobile networking stuff for phones. Qualcomm crushed. They've been doing it for a minute. I don't know if you ever heard of the brand before, but they've been doing it for a minute. And then so Apple was figuring out what they wanted to do, because originally they were invested. I don't know if they actually bought Intel's mobile networking division. I can't remember. Will's going to look for this, but that's kind of a tough Google. Either way, Intel decided to get out of that business. I don't remember who they sold that division or department to. Apple to acquire the majority of Intel's smartphone modem. Yeah, it's 2019. I remember some things.
Yeah.
Every so often.
Yeah.
But I forget 100 times more. So there's no need to celebrate. No need whatsoever anyway. So they bought that Intel piece, and the Intel stuff wasn't that good. So people said, why would you buy that? What are you trying to do? But you have to understand there's all kinds of like patents and intellectual property and things that go with it that could enable them to like build upon it.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And if you look at what they did with their own silicon, it was like that blew everybody away. Like they got money, they got people. There's no reason why they can't do it. And that would, of course, limit their reliance on the likes of Qualcomm, because now they can do it themselves. And if they can do what they did with the silicon and the M1 stuff, and presumably M2, whatever, M1X, whatever they end up doing in the future, imagine applying that similar tactic, but instead to 5G, to connectivity and so forth. Could be really interesting.
Right.
It's all far more integrated. It's their hardware, their software.
Use it as a foundation.
From the ground up. And they would own more of it. Now, that's easier said than done, going head-to-head with Qualcomm, because like I said, they've been doing it. But apparently we could see this Apple-branded 5G modem 2023. Here's one. This is a quick little one. Great little, look at this little thing. Okay, I complain about the Apple TV remote, and I complained about it up until the recent event when they showed off the new Apple TV, and they're like, we sort of fixed the remote. And then everybody afterwards was because, they did fix certain aspects of the remote, but then everybody afterwards was like, what about can we track it? Because you just did AirTags too. Is it going to be, because you lose the remote all the time?
Yeah.
In my house. I know people get angry. They're like, why are you losing a remote? My house is insane. It's absolute madness. I just feel the need. I got to reiterate every so often. It's a lot of moving parts. It's like the cartoon, like dun, 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 dun. It's like nothing is still. There's no stillness.
Sure, yeah.
Not in my house. I know you got that at your house. So don't you dare. Don't you dare.
No, I got Otis.
No, Otis lying down sleeping right now. Yeah, he is. You see, you were hoping I would have woke him up with that, but no, he's sound asleep. The only way he's going to wake up, if anything happens somewhere in the distance at some door, and then he's going to let us all know.
That happens all the time.
Well, he's going to let us all know. But I think I can. Oh, I almost got him. Nah, he's still sleeping. Wow, that was a real test. You were worried. You totally changed your posture.
No. He knows your craziness.
It's true. It's true. My noises have become predictable to him at this point. The unpredictability of those noises is predictable to him.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yes, Will, I know you got a nice little fancy setup over there, super quiet. You probably put on a chill tunes, and I know what you got going on. You never lose a remote in your entire life. You're perfect. I get it. All right. But at my house, madness. So I need this. They came up with a little case here to put, actually, I'm thinking of maybe doing a Kevlar version of this.
Oh, yeah?
If it's possible. I don't know.
Right.
I'm going to look into it because obviously I'm not a huge fan of the look of that plastic. Now, I know it's crude. It's just a 3D idea at the moment. But this is the idea everybody had when AirTags and the new Apple TV was announced. Now, this one's actually built for the old Apple TV controller, but you would just change the dimensions of it. So this is a case that clicks in an AirTag, and then the remote clicks on top of it. And so you never lose your remote ever again because now you got the ultra wideband.
Right, you can just track it.
Oh my God, you got the arrows. Oh, there it is. It's in the couch. Oh, there it is. It's in the toilet.
Yeah, it'd be really easy for Apple to put an AirTag in the remote.
It'd be sick.
But
Right, yeah.
no.
Well, they got to
Or
sell you the
even
AirTag.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But then just
Makes
make a case.
No, because this
Double
is
up.
very un-Apple, right? Like this is some MacGyver stuff over here. There's some Mad Max type stuff over here, But I don't care because, and I know you're saying, look how fat the thing. I don't.
Whoa, that is huge.
Hey.
That is way bigger than I
Hey,
thought.
hey, man.
You're
be-
Oh,
fine.
at least the AirTag is flesh.
Okay, listen.
Yeah, it looks pretty nice.
Listen to me for a second here. This thing is so thin to begin with that this is deceiving. this is still thinner than a typical remote. Do we have a typical remote? Do I have a typical remote over here? Here. This is still fatter than that. Okay.
Then that with the case
Yes,
on?
it's a yes.
Oh, okay.
This is still fat. Don't be deceived. The remote is so thin to begin with.
They got a glow in the dark version.
Which again, with the losing,
Yeah.
you get the glow in the dark as well. So, and it's so losable that I actually intentionally make mine fatter already, which I covered on this show, and people are sick of it at this point. I put a case on just to make it fatter. So anyway, I'm looking into whether or not it's possible to do this with later case in Kevlar. I'm not sure. Like, I'm putting that out there right now, but we'll see if it's possible. If not, you would have to do it with plastic. And your mileage may vary as far as the appearance of it is concerned, and the touch too. Like, it might. Hopefully, maybe you can do it in a nice plastic. I don't know. I'll try to mock something. We'll see what happens over here. But anyway, in the meantime, you can see the 3D printed version on Etsy. We got some new reports as far as the Bill Melinda Gates situation. And this is not what I saw coming, but I guess it kind of makes sense. Around the time that the Epstein stuff was going on, Bill Gates' name came up. But I got to be honest, I wasn't following it that closely. I know it was such a huge story. For whatever reason, I just wasn't following it that closely. Mm-hmm. But his name did come up that he knew Epstein. Now, he came out and said, I met him one time, but we weren't friends and we didn't do any business. Something like this. But now there's a new report here, and it's one of these reports which is, I think this is important, in quotes, people familiar with the matter. Like, that's tough, man. Mm-hmm. That's some tough, damn. Somebody writes a report about you, and the source is people familiar with the matter. Yeah. Damn.
Especially what they're going to say.
Damn. People familiar with the matter.
What does that even mean? Like, how familiar do you have to be to get that title?
No, I don't know. So then it comes down to you have to imagine who's making a report. Mm-hmm. And if they have a history of being right, and if they have a certain standard for people familiar, mm-hmm. Did they go knock on doors until somebody was familiar with the matter? No, like you would say, okay, who is this, by the way? The original report was Wall Street Journal. Okay, Wall Street Journal. I don't know. Those three words together sound very official. You like that, Will? You agree with that? You agree with that?
It has a history.
But you agree when you say those three words together, you're like, I don't know, that sounds like reporting right there.
Sure, yeah.
It turns out, according to this report, according to people familiar with the matter, that actually Melinda Gates has started the proceedings, or at least inquired about getting divorced, all the way back in 2019 when the original scandal broke. And apparently her reason for inquiring about potentially getting divorced was around his relationship with Epstein.
Ooh.
So you wanted your drama, you got your drama. You didn't want it to be, you wanted more. Well, at least these websites wanted more. You got more. I guess we got more too, because we just made a clip out of it.
Right.
That's how that works, Mo. I don't know if you've ever seen any of these clips before. You're probably way too intimately involved with these clips, actually. If Mo wasn't on the show right now, he'd be making
thumbnails,
clip thumbs. So if you've ever happened to yourself hovering over a clip thumb and being like, damn, I gotta click that, that's because of Mo. That's why you clicked it. Mo was like, I bet you're gonna click this. And then he put something fancy.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, I'm sure you failed at different points too, Mo, because that's part of the business, isn't it? It's part of the game.
I'm looking at a few failures.
We all have, right? That's part of the fun, though. It's part of the fun, though. So anyway, we just got another clip out of it. So who knows what the relationship actually was? Sources close to the situation, but obviously a name like Epstein doesn't fit all that well into the Bill Melinda Foundation.
Right.
Doesn't fit all that well into saving the world.
Ruins it.
Doesn't fit in there. Some sketchy stuff. I don't know, man. Money, power. I don't know. people familiar with the matter? I don't know. 2019? I don't know. I mean,
The Wall Street Journal, though.
Wall Street Journal. I mean, it sounds good. You put those 3 words together. Sounds official. I wouldn't want them to write about me. I'll tell you that right now. Oh my God. Sources familiar with the matter. Yeah. I'm
Which
dead.
is more?
I'm instantly
legitimate?
dead. If people familiar with the matter, I'm dead.
Yeah.
I'm
This
dead.
doesn't mean well.
Yeah.
talking about you.
I mean, it's obvious. It's obvious that Otis spilled the beans.
Yeah.
I was like, you won't believe this guy. Like, damn.
Just-
Otis spilled the beans.
yeah,
They like the dog talked. Well, then they couldn't write people familiar with the matter.
that's true.
It'd be dogs familiar with the matter.
Which is more legitimate, New York Times or
Yeah.
Wall Street Journal?
You know what? That's a toss-up.
It's a tough one, eh?
It's a toss-up, and they both are historic and 1 billion years old.
Yeah.
And you can actually picture in your head a physical newspaper
Yeah.
when you see the names.
And they're in cursive or
Yeah.
that like
You're talking about
fancy lettering.
the New York Times logo. Yeah. You picture a building. You picture bustling. There's got to be bustling going on.
the rotary phones.
Absolutely. Yeah. They got the phone lines.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can see it all. The whole history there. I don't know. Probably New York Times still beats Wall Street Journal, but they're in the same. They're in the same category.
Yeah.
Very similar category. In October 2019, the New York Times reported that Epstein cultivated the acquaintance of rich and powerful men, including former President Bill Clinton, but it said few compared in prestige and power to the world's second richest person, a brilliant and intensely private luminary, Bill Gates. There's also word from sources familiar with the matter that Melinda had warned Bill about Epstein and said, don't you, like as if she may have known something, or again, it's in a report right now and in retrospect and hindsight, but maybe people knew things. Obviously people knew things
Right.
leading up to he started rolling with these groups, but maybe he didn't take the warning. Maybe she found out more. There's a lot of maybes. I'm not making these.
We're not the Wall Street Journal here.
We're not the Wall Street Journal, to be clear. Don't claim to be. Mercedes has unveiled its new electric van as they expand their lineup of electric vehicles. We had the EQS in studio, and we had a time with it. I'll tell you what. I mean, that's one of my favorite videos we've done in a while.
Yeah, it was fun.
And it's one of my favorite intros we've done in a while, because this moment in the video where all the lights are on and stuff, it happened after the fact.
Yeah.
Like we realized I had played with the lights on in the studio, and I was like, okay, yeah, it's cool with light beams, and then all of a sudden Mo hit the lights off, and then I played with the lights off, and I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. It's a light show.
Cyberpunk. Unbelievable in the seats, and
You can't appreciate the lights during the day. It's so much more crazy with the lights on.
and also being there, not even seeing it in a video.
Yeah,
When you're in the car, you're like, whoa, it's Las Vegas in here right now. It's really cool. So anyway, we put this video, and it was cool to see the concept vehicle, EQS concept video, concept car in real life in our video. Even a seatbelt buckle over there. Anyway, Mercedes, they're not done with it, man. They got plans to go heavy on electric. And this is the electric iteration of the Mercedes T-Class, dubbed the EQT. And it will come alongside a commercial van as well, which I know Mo's going to do the van conversion. And then he could have electric, and he can charge it with solar. And I don't even know what he has planned, because he likes to get out there. Or he at least likes to pretend that one day he'll do it.
Exactly, yeah.
Which is
Just
partway.
preparing myself for that one day.
It's partway there, I don't know. Maybe on the weekend. Anyway, Mercedes is planning 8 fully electric vehicles on 3 continents in the next year. The EQT will compete with vehicles such as the Volkswagen AG, which is kind of like the microbus electric. I don't know if you've seen that. That's the VW version. Maybe you picked that one up. This looks a little more luxurious. If it's anything like the EQS, it's going to have double sliding doors with access to the 3rd row seating. And it also is going to have an electric longboard stored in a specialty compartment with a plexiglass lid.
Like a skateboard?
Yeah, like a skateboard longboard. And they did a launch video with Tony Hawk riding it around.
Oh, of course.
So I think minivans are on the way back.
This one especially looks really good. I wonder what the range is, though.
What do you mean? You can fit in even... The EQS was already showing some amazing numbers.
Right, yeah.
Over 700 kilometers.
Yep.
Right? 750 kilometers. We got official numbers, unofficial numbers, but don't you remember the drag coefficient talk?
Yeah.
I'm sure they did the same thing with the van. I bet you, or even bigger. It could go even bigger batteries in there.
Right, yeah, but also larger cargo. Like you're going to have a lot more weight in there.
Yeah. You gotta account for all that. That's part of the gig.
Is that the interior?
Where?
Or was that just a random?
I don't know if they've shown the full interior of it. Oh, there you go. Yeah. Click on that. Click on motor1.com and see if we can get some interior photos real quick.
Oh, they went with the same thing with the grill. Oh, they use different logos?
Well, it's still part of the EQ lineup.
Yeah.
So you can see the similar styling to the EQS. It's a van version of the EQS. The wheels are maybe more futuristic, but it is important to note as well that this is concept vehicle. EQS.
They have the gear shift in this one.
Well, very chromy.
The EQS that we looked at is a finished product.
Yeah, yeah.
So this could change a little bit. Although the EQS was close to its concept as well. Let's see what happens with the seats. What kind of fancy business with the seats? No, I want to see the backs of the seats right there. Oh, there's folding and strapping.
Whoa. That's longboard.
I mean, this is going to be an option, but so futuristic. And the seats, they flip and they flap, and I'm always a fan of that. Reconfigure the interior. So, exciting times. More electric options on their way. Vehicles are getting futuristic. It's happening. No?
What's that on the roof?
That's glass, isn't it? Or is it solar?
Is it a solar?
It might be solar. No, it's glass, I think.
Nice.
Hey, man.
Still cool, though.
Hey, man. Get the solar option. Or you're going to rig your own stuff anyways. You're going to buy the cargo version, and you got your whole life ahead of you, Mo.
Put a bed in there.
You're only 17 years old. You got your whole life ahead of you. Google is trying to kill passwords. You know how you guys how you use the same password for everything?
Yep.
It's terrible. Worst idea. Worst idea ever. You're dead. We're all dead.
Well, I got one of those alerts from Google when they're like, you have a few unsecure. That scared the crap out of me.
It just said the subject line was "Get your act together" from Google.
To sum it up thusly.
Yeah, from Sundar Pichai.
Signed.
Yeah.
It just said, Mo, get your act together.
Grow up. Stop being 17.
Yeah, grow up. Stop looking at vans and get some passwords. Yeah, so they're going to make, apparently, 2-factor authentication mandatory so that they can start to secure some of this. Because it's like another data breach every 5 minutes out here. And so outside of 2-factor, they're also in the password management business. They want you to store all your stuff inside their password management.
Yeah.
No authenticator.
No third party necessary. You can import all your passwords. So you can have those crazy alphanumeric passwords.
Yeah.
And then one password. One password which unlocks all the rest of it. So they're really coming for that, and they want to fix it because, if anybody is invested in this thing, it would be Google.
Yeah, this is a great idea. I like it.
Security. Big security guy. Yeah, but the thing is that their business model is so much like Apple in that sense, is tied up in your entire digital identity. And what is more strongly tied to your identity than your accounts, passwords, finances, things like that. Mm-hmm. So if you have a breach there, you don't trust anything anymore. You don't turn everything off. All of a sudden your bank account's emptied out, or your identity, or whatever. Your stuff's deleted, or worse, it's like one of those ransomware situations. Demands are being made. So if we're supposed to entrust any of these brands with all that super important information, then it's in these brands' best interest if they want to keep us as customers to not have those events take place.
Right.
Like kind of like how the credit card companies, if you get robbed, like as far as fraud is concerned, you call them up, you're like, look, those weren't my charges, and they're like, all right, we'll back you up.
Yeah.
It's like the one task. It's like important task. So where you have your authenticator is going to matter, and where you store your passwords is going to matter, because Apple has a play here. They're trying to do the same thing with iCloud and Keychain and blah, blah, blah. Here we have a comprehensive write-up from Ars Technica, actually speaking of Google. This is relating to Android, not Android Auto, but Android Automotive OS. This is native Android on the dash, on a screen in your car, not your phone, not attached to your phone at all. So rather than all these automakers, and the deal was signed between Ford and Google, all these automakers trying to come up with their own interfaces. And then you get into some next car and you're like, I don't know, start clicking around. Why is it not like your phone? There's still so much more you can do on your phone. How many times are you getting to this vehicle and it has nav or something in it and you still pull your phone?
Yeah, you still use the one on your phone. Yeah.
It's faster. Everything's updated. You have your options for your different apps.
Familiar.
It's a weird situation we're currently in. And very, very many times it's not... Your in-dash system is not as responsive as your phone. It's not as powerful as your phone in many cases. Obviously, that's changing recently. But this idea here is like, let's just put Android right in the car and have Android manage not just your smart features, but also your heating, your cooling, your everything.
Oh, wow, really?
And so one of the first vehicles shipping with this has been the Polestar 2. And as Will scrolls through here, you'll get a look at what the interface looks like. It's very Android. I mean, it's like bigger, slightly more cartoony Android. And you can see it's set up in quadrants. So you have and it only shows 4 apps at a time, which there was some criticism around that. It is a skinned version of Android that they're using here in the Polestar. And some brands may do that, whereas maybe at some point there would be some uniform stock experience that people gravitate towards. But in this case, you can see in the top left corner, you have a nav, that's Google Maps. You have Assistant, so you click the microphone and just ask whatever. In the bottom left, you have your phone. Bottom right, you have your media. And then you have your heating, cooling controls below that. But the whole thing, as long as if you were to examine the code, that's Android.
Can you log into your Google account and then it would just load up all the stuff in there?
Yeah, so see, that's the ideal scenario.
Yeah.
You want full, unadulterated Android. And that may happen at some point. But what you're looking at here is kind of maybe not a nerfed version, but it is a skinned version of it.
I see.
So there are certain limitations as far as apps are concerned. But I want you to imagine a future. I mean, because you got these big partnerships taking place. I want you to imagine a future in which you don't feel compelled at all to pull your phone out when you step into your car.
Yeah, that's the dream, right?
When your phone is right there, everything you might want, all the apps. And then imagine app developers developing specifically for the car. Because you've seen the likes of Spotify try to figure that out.
Right, yeah.
And they try to come up with this car-based interface, but then it's all wonky and it's like, they don't know what screen you're using. But if this, and then they came out with their own piece of hardware to try to solve it. But if this Android integration is to take off and many automakers use it, there may be incentive there for app developers to say, oh, let's do a really amazing version of our in-car experience.
Yeah, just for cars.
Just cars.
Yeah.
Where I just have a great idea for an app for cars. In the same way on iOS that someone may have a great idea for an iPad app, but not for an iPhone app.
Sure, yeah.
You can reimagine what all these apps should look like inside the car. Or also you can maybe start to imagine what some apps would look like only for the car that don't even exist on your phone at all. Like what would food reviews look like in the car?
Wait, what do you mean? I don't follow.
Well, you have Google Maps, and I guess Maps has ratings in it, but
It would be like a native experience.
So what I'm saying is once you realize the scale, the size of a display in a car, and you realize people take their car to go eat, if you were just to imagine from the ground up, what would an in-car food review app look like? It may look different than the way it looks on your phone.
Than on your phone.
Maybe you would. Maybe you'd strip back some of the detail, or maybe you would change the controls because there's you know that the person is preoccupied. Now, I'm not saying you probably wouldn't even interact with that while you're driving, or maybe you could. Maybe there would be a lot of voice elements. Maybe there'd be a lot of audio.
Yeah.
Like it would read the review to you
Right.
while you drive. I don't know. And you could tap in with assistant, read me the review from whatever app of the thing. And then, I don't know. Like, I'm just talking right now.
Yeah.
Google Maps is amazing. And there's reviews in it, and you can just use that. I'm just trying to come up with these things.
Yeah.
So anyway, it essentially becomes a giant Android tablet is what's sitting there. Capable of getting updated on a regular basis. And
Catered just for your car.
you have to become comfortable with this idea, though, that Google got you everywhere now.
Yeah.
They got you everywhere, which is
fine. Convenient.
which is good and bad, right?
Yeah.
It's like everything else.
Constantly trading convenience for privacy.
Everything else.
Yep.
Well, all of a sudden, it knows where you want to eat before you even know you want to eat. Son is bringing you there. And there's Otis here in the door in the back. And I know you guys missed him, so he came in right on cue. Because you guys are starting to worry about him. Where's Otis?
Come here, buddy.
Otis is 42 years old. He hasn't learned yet.
Yeah.
He still thinks
He was taking like a nice nap.
we need that warning still.
Yeah.
Clubhouse, speaking of Android, is finally coming to Android more than a year
Wow, that took a while.
after iOS exclusivity. 1 year. Now, you have to remember they were already kind of bombarded on iOS because it was like the hot thing to do.
it
And
blew up.
they were trying to limit the adoption by making it invite only. So they were already worried. Just on iOS, like, it's too many people.
Yeah.
We need to raise more money. Hire some more. We got to do something. But the number one request that they were getting was, hey, we're on Android. Stop leaving us out. It's not fair. You're all having a party over there. Now, I got questions about Clubhouse in general because all the big time competitors are coming online now. Like, I just got the spaces unlocked on my thing. I don't know if I'm doing a space. I don't know.
You don't know.
I mean, I just come on here.
Yeah.
Am I having a space? Are we having a space? You guys want to have a space later? They're like, no. God, no.
When it becomes a verb, it's kind of weird.
Yeah. Well, that's what they're all aiming at.
But yeah, as a brand, that's what you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's space it.
Let's. You want space later? No, let's space later. Anyway, so Clubhouse comes to Android. They fixed the number one requested thing, though it's only English speaking. So it's available in the US and then going to roll out to other countries later on. They're putting the final touches on it. Kind of reminds me of like early iPhone days when Instagram was iOS exclusive for 1 billion years. And it seemed, and people were buying iPhones because it had Instagram. And it wasn't on Android yet. And then I think it's still better on iOS, actually.
Yeah.
Instagram, I don't know. I don't use it that much. But now here we have that playing out in 2021 in the form of Clubhouse. Though I don't know if one of the things I've been thinking is that Clubhouse is kind of like a COVID app. Like it really would be one of those apps that really benefited from people just being stuck at home and feeling the need to hang out with others and feeling the need to hear other people talk. And then all of a sudden when the restaurants and the movie theaters open back up, they're like, what's Clubhouse?
Yeah.
Because
it was very specific for a moment.
It was perfect for a moment. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen, by the way. I know there's valuable conversations going on over there. But I'm just saying that, like a lot of other businesses, most businesses suffered in COVID, but some did well.
Some did well. Some blew up.
Some did well, and some. So we have to at least leave open the possibility that COVID could have helped some businesses. COVID could have helped content businesses, new ones. It could have helped Clubhouse. And anyway, so Clubhouse has plans for how to keep it hot outside of just launching the Android app, because by the way, it still will be invite.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They got to make you feel special,
Right,
Mo.
yeah.
You're on Clubhouse now. You feel special. They were recently valued at $4 billion after the latest funding round, and they have launched an accelerator program. So they're going to fund 50 audio shows on the platform. Audio shows. So you see how that goes?
Something like this.
This show?
Yeah.
No, they never fund something like this. You crazy? This thing?
Yeah,
I won't pay a dime for this. No, I'm just kidding. Will, I apologize. You put together a great show over here.
yeah.
Anyway, 50 shows. It reminds me of the Spotify thing. They're like, oh yeah, I guess it just matters what content we have. I guess it matters who's hanging out on our platform. I guess it matters who's posting here. So if we sign 50 key deals and keep those people publishing here, then people are going to come here because they want to hear what they have to say. And that's why Spotify gave Rogan the money.
Yeah.
That's why YouTube gave us the money. Well, I mean, we got to go and get it with the ad revenue. I was like, what type of deal you cut, man? I mean, they could. We could just threaten to leave. We could just be like,
Yeah, but what if they say good riddance?
we could be like, oh, listen here, YouTube.
That's probably the case.
Be like, listen here, YouTube. We got a big Spotify offer. Going exclusive. They're like, yeah, see you later.
Yeah.
They're like, so?
Peace.
No, actually, we just get no response. They just ghost us.
Yeah.
They're like, who are you again? We're like, wait a sec. We were talking like 2 weeks ago about some feature.
Yeah.
Like, who are you? Yeah, I know. But that's the way it is now. If you want to have one of these platforms that isn't one of the big ones,
Yeah.
you're going to have the right people stay on there.
Yeah, they need to get Elon.
So the other day we're talking about those PlayStation shoes, collaboration between PlayStation, Paul George, and Nike, and it's like a motif, like a PlayStation 5 style motif. This is their third collaboration. They did something based on the original PlayStation. I think they did, was it like a PS4 sneaker too? Anyway, this one is a PS5 sneaker, and I don't know, as a basketball shoe, it looks kind of cool if you're into PlayStation. They just collab with the brands. It's a multiplier effect. They put the X. Anyway, Xbox didn't want to be outdone.
Felt a little left out.
Because they saw them put the X, and they're like, well, we can collab too. And so Xbox did what of course you would do. They teamed up with Nike's rival, Adidas. Damn! For the ultimate crossover battle, you have Xbox versus PlayStation, Adidas versus Nike. So they took a obviously different approach here. The Xbox shoe is like kind of based upon something that looks a little bit more like a skate shoe, flat sole, maybe a little more style or lifestyle, as they call it in that business, maybe less performance oriented. And then obviously in Nike's case, you have a basketball sneaker. What do you say, Mo? Which of these two, do you go with Xbox Adidas or do you go with Nike PS5?
I'm going to go with Nike PS5. It just looks so much more breathable.
Okay, these are interesting considerations over here.
Also, I don't like the what is this portion called? The tag?
Tongue.
Tongue?
It's called a tongue.
I don't like a big fat tongue.
That's you and Kanye West.
Oh, really?
Kanye been talking about the tongue for a long time. He's like, gotta be done with this tongue right now.
The fat tongue.
Yeah, that's why all those sneakers is like no tongue, right? All those Yeezys,
Right, yeah.
and then the new, what the hell's the new one? The Slide. No.
Oh, the dinosaur looking one?
Yeah, what is that new one? The foam runner. Anyway, he was explaining the inspiration with the whole thing is, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, those ones.
You see, Mo? No tongue. No tongue. Just wear this around here. That might be comfy.
Clopping away.
Do you feel like that clops, though? I feel like I need to order that just to find out.
Sure,
I'm hoping it squishes instead of clops.
Yeah, but you don't want that either. Squeaky.
No, not squeak. Squish. Like foam. I mean, it's called foam.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, like a
foam runner.
Yeah, like an Ultra Boost or something. I mean, it's obviously not the same material, but anyway,
It looks comfy and breathable.
Yeah, maybe it is. Maybe I got to pick this up. I don't know. Just to wear around in here. But I actually, normally if I need something really comfy, I would just go with like an actual slide.
Sure.
When I'm in here.
They got the green laces as well. With the
Yeah, but it's
Xbox.
an Xbox thing going on there.
Do you think
Anyway.
that lights up at the bottom?
No. Let's not get carried away.
Which one would you go for?
Yeah, I'll go for, I actually need some extra basketball sneakers right now. So I'll go with Nike as well. How about you, Will?
I'll be the outlier. I'll get the Xbox one.
So you're an Xbox guy then?
Yes.
You're
sure.
You're an Adidas. Actually, I probably own more Adidas sneakers than Nike sneakers. So let's put that out there. This car, 1750 horsepower supercar, was attempting to break the speed record, reach 300 miles per hour in both directions. The $1.9 million SSC Tuatara claimed the production car speed record in January with a 282.9 mile per hour average across 2 runs in opposite directions. That's what you have to do, by the way.
Whoa.
You have to go in opposite directions. So then the wind didn't play a factor, like the elements. You got to prove it both ways if you're looking for the big title. The mark was they also had a higher mark, 316 miles per hour on a closed public highway in Nevada, but then that was contested because they had some questions around the equipment being whether it was calibrated or not that was judging the speed.
Oh.
So it's been a bit of a controversy going, okay, you're going to really break this record. Now, Will knows this. I'm not sure if you know this, Mo, but there's only one vehicle that has topped that 300 mark for this type of run. Production car. I should say production car. Mm-hmm. We'll let you know which one it was. He doesn't even need to scroll.
I actually don't remember.
Oh, buddy.
We watched the video together.
Was it the Chiron?
Come on, Willie. Do have some confidence, man. The Bugatti. Yeah, you got it, man.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, of course.
I
man.
was thinking whether it's the Chiron or the Viron.
No, it's the Chiron.
Oh, okay. Okay, good. I feel confident.
Come on, Will. You just barrel into it. If you got it, you got it. If you don't, you don't.
Yeah.
We did a game. I was playing a game with the kids around a campfire. It's like a mobile game by the name of Spyfall.
Okay.
Have you guys heard of this one? No. It's pretty simple. There's so many games like this, but what it is it's kind of like that game with the imposter.
Oh yeah. Where one person's a killer and everybody
exactly. And you got to ask questions and keep bringing it down. And there's so many scenarios which are a coin flip. Like it's like if you answer this one way, for sure it's you. If you answer it the other way, you're still in the game. If you're the spy, I'm saying. Mm-hmm. And so that's the example where Will has to barrel into it. Because at least you got a 50% chance at that point.
Sure.
Like in his mind, he was like, I think it might be the Chiron. If he barreled in, because he was going to say it anyway, he limped in instead. This is like poker stuff too, by the way. If he barreled in, we were just being like, damn right, that's Willie do.
Yeah.
And it was the same answer. It was just the delivery.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden we buy it, and then we fold, and he wins the pot.
I don't know if that works like that.
So really, Will's just a bad poker player.
Sure. Yeah.
That's what we've come down to.
I'm just saying.
Imagine if I said something really ridiculous. Like,
and barreled into it?
Yeah.
I would have respect for that
confidence.
too. I would have respect for that too.
It's
No, you're right.
It's my car.
No, you're right. Sometimes you got
95 Civic or something.
Sometimes you got to play it safe. Sometimes you got to hedge your bets.
Yeah.
And you go in, you limp in, and that can be beneficial too. You can bait people like that.
Sure, yeah. Like pose yourself as weak.
Yeah, you could be like, Willie Duke could be like,
bang.
I don't know anything about these cars. You're asking the wrong guy. And then he could be like, probably those is Chiron. And we all be like, damn. You see, we're all surprised instead. Anyway, the Chiron was clocked 304.77 at a Volkswagen test track in Germany. But that was only in one direction. So this one wants to defeat that. However, there was a big mishap.
Oh no.
Disaster.
The vehicle was being transported to Florida to do another run at the record. And then the car carrier that it was in was hit by high winds and flopped over and smashed the whole thing, which has gotten in the way of running more tests on. Obviously, this is a very fine piece of machinery. There's going to have to be some serious work done to revitalize this.
I guess it's one of one.
How dare you?
Well, it's customized too.
You know this already well.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole body, the tub is carbon fiber. Like there's going to be a lot of repair stuff over here, but they say most of it is intact. So it's going to be some touch-ups, and then they're back on the road and they want that title.
Oh, really? They're going to be able to repair this?
Oh,
and still break records?
Oh, there you go.
Okay.
Few professionals over there.
I was just about to ask, if that's how the car looks, how does the truck look?
Yeah, the truck doesn't look good. You imagine you're just in Utah. You're just transporting the world's fastest car prototype.
Yeah.
And then the wind hits. And you're like, and you feel yourself going over. Like I assume nobody's injured, but you just feel like, oh boy. And you're like, I had one job. I had to get this from here to there in the wind of all things. You see, you can never prepare yourself.
With nature or just in general?
No, well, that's nature, yeah.
Yeah.
Life, nature, fast cars.
Nature won this time.
Bugattis. Is that snow coming down? Sure looks like it. Where are they?
Utah, no?
Why is that? Does that look like snow to you?
Yeah.
It's weird.
Oh.
Look at them pulling it out, but all smashed out. I mean, it's so depressing, actually.
Yeah. It's really sad.
Anyway, I'm sure they'll fix it. Okay, this one's about to catch Mo off guard. How about this for an idea at your wedding? When you hire a pole dancer as the entertainment for the wedding ceremony.
That's going to go over well.
This is I don't know if you can call it a trend, but this went viral on China's version of TikTok, Douyin. This is a wedding, I guess the party, not the ceremony, is the reception is what they call it. Mm-hmm. So it's like the party portion. Oh, Mo's very upset.
I don't
Mo's very upset. Go ahead, Mo.
But maybe you can tell me more about the reason why this is happening. I can't imagine.
How the hell am I going to tell you?
Maybe you know about the story more than I do, but
I mean, I know the story, but who can explain such a thing?
No, I don't get having strippers and a wedding in the same sentence.
Hang on a second. Pole dancer.
Sure, pole dancers.
No, there's a difference.
You're right. There is. I stand corrected.
But still, you're still uncomfortable with this. You're all of a sudden you're touching your chin.
Yeah.
Oh, you're very You're very. You're very uncomfortable. But can you think of a reason that this might be a good idea?
Way to lob it up to me for this one, huh? No, I can't.
Okay, I have an idea of how this is a good idea.
Okay.
If the bride was previously a pole dancer themselves and wants some sort of homage to that,
But you mentioned
history.
that this is blowing up.
No, I never said it was blowing up. I said I don't know if it's blowing up.
Oh, okay.
This post is blowing up because people are doing what you did. They go, yeah. That's what people are doing. And so they're clicking on it and saying, how dare you? But anyway, the pole dancing thing as performers apparently is gaining popularity, but it's being used mostly for car shows to boost attendance.
Who's this guy? He's chilling. He's having a great
At the
time.
yeah, and they're saying like, look, it's just entertainment aspect, but it's obviously different. Here are some comments from Douyin. Is it appropriate performing such a dance when the elderly, the young, and children were having dinner together, and some were relatives? This is so embarrassing. That's what somebody says. Here we go. She danced really well, but this is not the occasion for pole dancing. That's you, Mo.
I just don't see how the two fit.
That's a completely separate video of a male pole dancer. That has
like,
no relevance. They're trying to click you through to another one.
Like,
yeah. Here we go. There might be such hot dances in rural areas to attract attendance at funerals or weddings.
Funerals?
lighten up the mood.
That's what I'm gonna have. That's what I would have. That's what you have in your will. It's like at my funeral there will be pole dancing
to lighten the mood.
Here, someone says, I find it very vulgar and would not design such a performance at the wedding reception. So,
I
mean, to each their own, but I just don't see how that works.
Well, you said the bride was a pole dancer?
No, I said that was the argument that would possibly go over if it was like her best friend who still is pole dancing and she just really wants to have that element. This is, look, I'm not saying that's, you know, just putting that out there. Anyway.
Well, you were right. Shocked me.
I'm glad that lightened the mood. Oh, here we go. I don't know if you guys knew about this, but if you want to immediately blow up on TikTok, let me explain all you have to do. All you need to do is find a secret entrance.
Yes.
That's it. That's all you have to do. If somebody right now, listen to me. I mean, maybe this exists already. Listen to me right now. All you have to do is start a TikTok account where you go into unknown, abandoned,
Even just your
secret
house.
rooms. Even just your house. Just start. I heard something in the back corner. Like, what is the obsession with this?
I don't know, but my wife has sent me maybe like 10 of these.
What?
All different types.
It's like there's a room behind the mirror, behind the room. There's another room in my house. The room was boarded up.
Follow for part 10.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so it somehow hacks the algorithm because they leave it on a huge cliffhanger. They never find anything, but they're like, in the next part, it's gonna be big in the next part. And so actually in this one, the latest one I have here, homeowner finds secret staircase in the house behind boarded up door.
Enticing.
Okay, it has all the elements you're looking for.
Yeah.
And so she films this video. She opens the door. It looks like there's a staircase behind it. But then there's no follow-up as promised. Instead, she says, I'm too scared to go in there.
Oh.
But I will once my boyfriend is home.
Once I've accumulated enough hype.
Yeah.
No. Hey, no. She said, once my boyfriend's home because he's out of town, then I'm going in there. But what happened is, I mean, the clip got so many views in the meantime. It has 9.3 million views. Now I'm looking at her other TikToks. It's like 40,000. Most of them. Some of them lower. Some of them 20,000. Here's one that's only 9,800. And then all of a sudden she moves into an old house, opens an old door, finds an old staircase, 9.3 million.
Yes.
Wow.
This
Finally.
seems like an easy hack. Why is everybody not doing this? And then her follow-up is 2 million, and she calls it part 1.5, and she says, I'm waiting for my boyfriend to come back, so keep it locked. Keep it locked, because when he gets back, who knows we're going to find
We're
out
going
there.
to open the door.
Yeah, we might open it part way. We'll open it further than we opened it before.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, there is some...
Well, it's definitely a hack.
It's a hack, right? Because
Yeah.
it's
It's not going to last forever, though.
what must happen is you leave people on this strong cliffhanger, this strong mystery, and then they start their behavior changes around the thing where they're more likely, I guess, to click the follow button or like or whatever else. And then that boosts the thing in the algorithm. And all of a sudden you have an account that's typically getting 20,000 to 100,000 views. It gets 9 million. It's a huge amplifier effect. So other people are going to do it. But I'm saying right now, before it's too late, Hidden Room Channel, I'm saying all you do is investigate the weird, what is it? Supernatural.
Sure, yeah.
You hear booms and bangs and you follow up on the next episode and everything ends at a weird doorway. You're crushing. I'm telling you. He's
Of course, yeah.
100 milli right now. I can't be doing that, but maybe Mo will do it. I don't know. Gotta get a van first.